One girl weight became everyone's joke. They laughed at her, mocked her, even her teacher joined in. But pain has a way of changing people. This is the story of Tola, the girl they called Elephant, and how her tears turned into power. A heartbroken, emotional and inspiring journey of bullying, trauma and unexpected strength. Watch till the end, you won't forget her.
The heart of Lagos, where the sun rose early and children marched to school in their uniforms, there was a girl named Tola Adebayo. She wasn't like the other girls in her class. While others wore slim skirts and tight shirts that danced in the breeze, Tola's uniform stretched across her round stomach and thighs, always too tight, always too noticeable. She knew it. Everyone knew it. And they made sure she never forgot. Every morning as she walked through the school gate, the whispers would begin. Here comes Big Mama. Did the ground just shake? She probably ate 10 yam porridge bowls for breakfast. The boys would laugh and slap each other's backs. Even the girls giggled behind their hands, eyes sparkling with mischief. But Tola, she didn't flinch. She had learned not to. She walked past them, her head held high, lips curled into a half-smile, as daring anyone to say it louder. Because she had decided long ago. If they were going to laugh at her, they better be ready to fear her too. Tola had become a bully. Not just any bully, the most feared girl in the school. She had a loud voice that echoed through the corridors. When she backed an order, even senior boys paused. Out of my seat. Give me that snack. You think you're better than me? No one dared answer. And if they did, they regretted it. She once slapped a girl for calling her a piggy. The girl didn't return to school for 3 days. Another time, she threw a boy's lunchbox into the gutter. The boy cried. Tola just laughed. To the school staff, she was troublesome, unmanageable. But none of them really tried to understand her. At home, Tola was a different person. She lived with her parents and 2 siblings in a flat in Mushin. Their house always felt heavy with silence, except when her father was shouting. You've been eating again, haven't you? He'd growl, his voice like thunder. You're bringing shame to this family. Her mother rarely defended her. Instead, she sighed loudly and said, Tola, try to lose some weight. No man wants a woman like this. Sometimes, her younger brother would lock the kitchen and laugh. Fatty Tola can't eat now. She'd sit alone in the corner, pretending not to care. But at night, she cried into her pillow, quiet, choked sobs that shook her whole body. No one saw her pain. No one wanted to, but here's what no one ever asked. How does a girl become a monster in her own story? Tola wasn't always like this. There was a time when she was gentle. When she believed in friendship and laughter. But pain changed her. The world turned her into something it could fear, because it never offered her love. By the time she was in JSS 2, Tola had made a rule. If they won't love me, they will fear me. That way, they won't hurt me. So she learned to fight. She practiced looking dangerous in mirrors. She memorized the names of everyone in her class. Just so she could remind them who was in charge. She hated the way they looked at her, but she told herself it was better than pity. Pity was weakness. And weakness, in her mind, meant more pain. Some nights, Tola stayed awake staring at her ceiling, her stomach rumbling because she skipped dinner, her chest tight with emotions she didn't know how to explain. She'd whisper to herself, maybe I am the problem. But then she'd remember the names they called her. She'd remember being laughed at when her chair broke in primary 4. She'd remember the cold look in her father's eyes. And the soft tears would dry up. She'd build her wall again and sleep with her fist clenched. One morning, something strange happened. As she walked through the gate, ready for another day of war, a small girl accidentally bumped into her. The girl gasped and stepped back, clearly expecting a slap. Tola stared at her, but didn't say anything. For a moment, she felt something crack inside. She didn't hit her. She just walked away. She didn't understand why. Maybe, just maybe, the mask was getting too heavy. She was still the school bully. Still feared. Still loud. But something inside her had started to shift. And change was coming. Tola's was buried deep, covered by layers of anger, sarcasm, and fear. But inside her heart was a truth she had never told anyone. A truth that shaped the girl everyone now feared. There was a time, not so long ago, when Tola was shy. She loved to draw cartoons and read romantic novels. She believed in friendship. She dreamed of becoming a teacher, just like her primary 3 Miss Adesewa, who once said to her, "You are very smart, my dear. Don't let anyone dim your light." But that light didn't last. In primary 5, everything changed. During break time one afternoon, Tola's chair broke beneath her. She had grown fast that year, and the old plastic chair gave way with a loud crack. For 2 seconds, the class was silent. Then came the laughter. Sharp, cruel, loud. Laughter that hit like thunder. One boy shouted, "Earthquake." Another said, "Madam Elephant has fallen." Even her teacher chuckled. No one helped her up. Tola sat there on the floor, her eyes burning, her cheeks hot with shame. And in that moment, something inside her died. Something soft. From that day forward, she stopped smiling. Stopped raising her hand in class. Stopped trusting people. She began to build walls around her heart. Heavy, invisible walls made from every insult, every laugh, every silent rejection. The day a girl in her church group whispered, "I don't want to sit beside her. She sweats too much." Tola added another brick. When her aunt asked in front of visitors, "Are you sure she's just 11? She looks like a grown woman." Another brick. She started to believe she was unlovable. Not because it was true, but because no one tried to prove otherwise. So, she made a decision. If they won't love me as I am, I will become someone they'll never forget. Someone they fear. Tola changed her walk, shoulders wide, chest out. She stopped wearing the big sweaters she once used to hide her body. Now she wore them like armor. To laugh first, so no one could laugh at her. To speak sharply, so no one could question her. To hurt others, so she wouldn't be the one hurting. But in her heart, she was still a little girl sitting on that broken chair, waiting for someone to say, "It's okay. I see you. You're still worthy." Tola had no friends. Even the girls who followed her around did it out of fear. They called her boss, gave her their snacks, and nodded at everything she said. But none of them really knew her. They didn't know she drew cartoon girls in her notebook, or that she wrote poems about feeling invisible. They didn't know she cried herself to sleep sometimes. She was a queen in the school hallways, but a prisoner in her own heart. Sometimes, late at night, she would look in the mirror. She would see her round cheeks, full arms, and deep brown eyes. She'd whisper, maybe I'm not so ugly." But then her father would bang on her door. "Turn off that light and stop wasting electricity." Or her mother would shout from the kitchen, "Tola, come wash these plates. Sitting around won't help you lose weight." And just like that, the tiny spark would vanish. But then came a day, a simple day, that began to change everything. During a free period, the school counselor, Miss Ijoma, came to class. She asked the students to write anonymous notes on how they felt. Tola rolled her eyes. "Waste of time," she muttered. But something inside her told her to write. So, she picked up her pen and wrote, "I hate this school. I hate the people here. They laugh at me, stare at me, avoid me. But they don't know that I cry when I get home. They don't know I've been starving myself some nights. They don't know I just want someone to say, 'You matter.' But maybe I don't." She folded the paper and dropped it into the box. Her hands trembled. She didn't know that Miss Ijeoma would read it later and cry. She didn't know that that one note would be the start of a new chapter. She didn't know that help was finally coming. Tola walked home that day feeling a little different. She had let a piece of her pain out into the world. Just a small piece. And even though she didn't smile, she didn't frown either. Sometimes, healing doesn't begin with a scream. It begins with a whisper. And that whisper was now alive inside her. There are moments in life when silence becomes too heavy, too loud. For Eden Okidi, a quiet, bright-eyed JSS 1 student, silence had been her companion ever since she first entered the school. She was smart. Always came first in class. Spoke softly. Smiled politely. But in the shadow of Tola Adebayo, even sunlight felt like darkness. Ada had only been in the school for 2 weeks when it happened. She sat in the last row of the class, clutching her small green lunchbox. It was her mother's jollof rice, perfectly packed with fried plantains, chicken, and a boiled egg. As she brought the first spoonful to her lips, shadow blocked her light. It was Tola. Her presence filled the room, bigger than anyone else, louder than any voice. "What's that smell?" she said, scrunching her nose. Ada froze. "Is that chicken?" "Oh, you're enjoying, oh, small girl like you." Ada smiled nervously. "Yes, my mom made it." Before she could finish, Tola grabbed the lunchbox from her hands. "No be only your mama sabi cook." The whole class fell silent. Then came the laughter. But not from Ada. From the girls who followed Tola like shadows. From the boys who always pretended not to care. Tola ate the food right there. Mouth full. Smacking. Staring. Ada's eyes watered. Not from anger, but from shame. That night, Ada didn't tell her mother what happened. She said, "I wasn't too hungry." She forced a smile. But in her diary, she wrote, "There's a girl in school who is very big and very loud. I think she wants to scare people so they won't see that she's sad. Today, she took my food. But I'm more worried about her than myself. I think she's hurting, but no one sees it." Weeks passed. Tola continued her reign. But Ada watched her, not with hate, but with curiosity. She noticed how Tola stared at happy students when they weren't looking. How she quickly wiped her eyes when no one was near. How she always walked alone after school, shoulders heavy. Was this girl really a bully, or just someone who had forgotten how to be loved? One Monday morning, during break, Tola was storming through the class as usual. She threw books, backed others, and kicked a desk aside. But this time, Ada didn't hide. She stood. She stood in front of her desk, trembling, but firm. Tola turned to her. "What is it?" "You get mine now, Obi." Ada took a deep breath and said something no one had ever said to Tola before. "Why are you angry every day? Who hurt you?" The room froze. Tola blinked. "What did you just say?" she growled. Ada didn't flinch. "You're not scary. You're sad. I can see it." The other students gasped. Everyone waited for the slap. But it didn't come. Tola stood there, her mouth open. For a moment, her face broke like a mask cracking. Her hand twitched. But she didn't raise it. She turned and walked out. Fast. Not with pride. But with something unfamiliar, shame. The class erupted in whispers. Did she just talk to Tola like that? Is she mad? Maybe the small girl wants to die young. But Ada sat down slowly, her heart pounding. She wasn't trying to be brave. She was trying to understand. She didn't hate Tola. She pitied her. And more than anything, she wanted her to heal. That afternoon, Ada went behind the toilet block to get water. She heard sniffling. Then soft crying. It was Tola. Curled up. Alone. Ada stepped forward, quietly. She sat beside her, without a word. Just silence. Tola didn't push her away. She didn't look at her either. But her tears flowed freely. And in that still moment, the loudest girl in school and the quietest girl became something like equals. Tola didn't become kind of a knight. She still shouted. Still threw the occasional insult. But something had changed. She didn't take people's food anymore. She didn't slap anyone that week. She even said thank you once. Small steps. The other students didn't notice. But Ada did. And so did Miss Ijoma, who had been quietly watching. Planning something that would soon shift everything. Today I saw the real her. Not the loud Tola, but the broken one. I think she wants to change. She just doesn't know how yet. Maybe I can help her remember who she was before the pain.